From MMA Fighting Studios, this is Between the Links. And now, your host, Mike Heck.
The iconic voice of Esther Lynn welcomes you to a brand new edition of BTL. Happy Thursday to us all. Hope you're all doing fantastic. I am live here in the great state, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, for today's program. We're in the new apartment. We're setting up a little mini command center for when I have to travel up here while the wife works, but we make do with what we have here in bedroom 2.0 as back for another Q&A edition of the program with everything going on. And there's no other man that I wanted to have on more than the celebration man himself, the man who is applauding the Toronto Blue Jays. In fact, I am also applauding the Toronto Blue Jays for just kicking the just absolute shit out of the New York Yankees and their $300 million payroll. I'm talking about my best friend, the one and only Alexander Cayley. AK, congrats to you. Congrats to the Blue Jays. They couldn't have done it without you.
Thank you. It's a long way to go. Thank you, my best friend. Obviously, we're very excited up here in the GTA, the home of the American League Division Series champions. Is that even a thing? It's been a while. Mike, it's been a while since our team has won a playoff series. So it's been 9 years since we won a playoff series. So I don't know if you call them Division Series champions or whatever. But yeah, it's been a good time. I'm glad we can all sort of join together. I know Big Papi's loving it. I saw Pedro loving it. I think Pedro is Vladimir Guerrero's godfather. So he's just rolling in it. It's a good time all around, man. Yeah, like somewhat tense series for a minute, but I was really impressed given how poorly the Jays' like recent playoff experiences have gone with very much a lot of the same core. But there's different vibes this year. Our expectations, it's weird. I guess our expectations were so much lower going into the season, and then somehow we surpassed those when previous years we were like, oh, this team has what it takes to go all the way, and then they just fell on their face. So I don't know. Maybe they make it to the World Series. Maybe they don't. It's going to be Seattle or Detroit. And it's going to be weird because I think they'll be favored against either of those teams. Very weird place to be. Very weird place to be for Toronto right now. Because, again, heading into the season, it was like 500, expectations of 500, maybe, build to next year. That's how baseball is, man. It's a weird game. It's a long season. You got a lot of luck. I think the Jays led in, like, comebacks this year or something, which was not, again, it's so random. Like some years your team does great and those some years they don't. I know people can go like, oh, team's clutch or whatever like that, but I think there's a lot of luck involved. So man, when the luck goes your way, it feels good. So we'll see, man. Nothing but gravy game 1 on Sunday. And then I hope Red Sox fans are at least somewhat enjoying seeing the Yankees get their butts whipped for a minute.
I did, because this feels like the whole thing felt exactly like the Knicks beating the Celtics, where the fans all talk shit. They celebrated like they just won 18 championships in a row. Even the players, they were just like, yeah, we beat the Red Sox. The season's over. This is like our World Series. And then they went out and just got buried by the Blue Jays. And I loved every second of it. Loved every second of it. Yes, we've won a lot of championships, but at the end of the day, it actually feels good that the Red Sox sort of overachieved, because after watching what Toronto did to the Yankees, I was just like, shit, man, like we were better than them. Like even with their payroll, like we were the better team, and we just pissed it away because our bullpen was awful and we couldn't get the bats going at the right time. And it was just one of those things where I'm like, man, we could have absolutely beat them. So it's a good feeling to feel that again. Like I feel like the Red Sox are back, that I could be a little bummed in October about how the team finished up. So it's a great thing. It's a great thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Like I said, even if the Jays, again, let's say they bow out in the championship series, I'll still be like, oh, wow, freaking made it to the championship series for the first time since 2016. So we'll be disappointed. There'll be a lot of disappointment around the city. But again, it's all for me, it's all gravy. I do not speak for the city of Toronto. I think the city of Toronto is super hyped up right now and it's just eyeing like World Series or bust. But I'm a little more trying to be a little more measured here. But I will celebrate along with everyone else if they make it that far. Damn. It'll be the first time since what, 93? 93, 92? Damn.
Yes, since the Joe Carter.
They actually won. It's crazy. This is a franchise that has 2 World Series on it. It just feels it's a lifetime ago. And a lot of the current fan base is probably even born when that happened. So
yeah, I remember playing like Super Nintendo baseball games, like RBI baseball and like Hardball 94. And I would always use the Blue Jays because they were so stacked, dude.
So fun.
Like Sandy Alomar was hitting like, or I'm trying to think, they had like Roberto Alomar hitting like 8th in their lineup. it was just the most ridiculous lineup in all of baseball. Like John Olerud just buried out there. Like it was absolutely crazy. So
stacked.
But let's talk some MMA.
Okay.
Fire some questions in. Let's get after it and let's have a good time. Of course, UFC 320 in the books. Alex Pereira just destroys Magomed Ankalaev. I want to start there, AK, because a lot has come out since that fight. It has become the Magomed Ankalaev was injured. He shouldn't have fought. He had the rib injury, all of that. We hear it from his manager. We confirmed that he had a rib injury. His team sent us the videos that were sort of going across the internet. And it sort of led to this thing where this did not help, unfortunately, Magomed Ankalaev's case in the court of public opinion. All it did was just kind of pile upon the fans' celebration of Pereira beating him. And I don't really think that's fair at the end of the day. And even Daniel Cormier, I think, laid it out kind of good, where he talked about the rib injury. He said he saw the injections happen at the PI and things of that nature. But he was like, even if he was at 120%, I don't think he would have beat Alex Pereira in this fight, because that was just the mindset that Pereira was in. So I just want to get your thoughts, your reaction to what we have learned from the Magomed Ankalaev side of things since Saturday night. And does it change your opinion on anything? What do you think?
I mean, how can it? Because if you're going to believe that Pereira wasn't 100% in the first fight, then and that doesn't take away from Ankalaev's win at UFC 313, then you should give Pereira the same credit. I feel now it's you could say the severity of whatever the pre-fight issues allegedly were different. With Pereira, it was I think primarily, I know there was some minor injuries, but also that he got the norovirus, right, which is pretty serious stuff to get during a training camp. I mean, that's like vomiting, nausea, headaches. Imagine having all that, dealing with that for however long as he did ahead of a title fight, ahead of his fourth title fight in a span of a little over a year or something. Like we had already, I remember going to 313, we were like, in addition to the challenges Ankalaev presents, we were just like, is Pereira staying too busy? Like, he did such a great job saving some UFC events that needed headliners, and he benefited from it too. So he got some nice paychecks. His star rating went amazingly high. Like, I think becoming the biggest star in the UFC. I think it's fair to say that's actually active. But it came at a cost. So if you believe that, then I think you can believe Ankalaev as well. But again, I think it doesn't take away from either man's victory. I gave Ankalaev full credit for winning UFC 313. I give Pereira full credit for winning at UFC 320. If you're in there, you're in there. I don't believe I would totally accept that Ankalaev wasn't at his best. That's how the game goes. You chose to go in there. I'm sorry. It does not convince me that the UFC, like, I think the main motivation would be that the UFC, the matchmakers, or someone, or maybe fans or the media would push for, like, oh, well, he was injured. Let's get that rematch going. And I just don't think that's what's going to happen. So I understand why they did it for that reason. If they're trying to get sympathy from the public, from the fans, man, there's just not a lot for it. There's just not a lot for it. Because again, frankly, even Pereira fans, I don't think a lot of them cared about the whatever issues he was dealing with ahead of the first fight at UFC 313. I don't remember Pereira fan, and maybe I'm just not plugged into that conversation. I don't remember Pereira fans going like, he got screwed. He wasn't healthy. Other than the normal fandom of like, if they do a rematch, he'll win. So it hasn't changed my perspective on it at all. And Ankalaev honestly probably should not have fought. I'll believe that if it's true that it was a broken rib that he was dealing with, but he did. This is the reality we live in. And sadly, I think we can all just move on. Maybe Ankalaev, like I said, probably fights his way to some sort of title fight again. Mike, you and I have laid out many scenarios where Alex Pereira is not involved and Ankalaev ends up fighting for the title again, and he should be happy with that. But I think the Pereira story is over. And I'm not looking at the comments right now. I'll check after, but I can't imagine too many people complaining.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Pereira's story is over. In fact, it could have been over after the first fight. No one cared. No one cared. And we've sort of talked about it. Just like, okay, all this signified to us was like, okay, Magomed Ankalaev's the best light heavyweight in the world. We kind of knew that, but still, even with the run Pereira was on, no one was like, oh, he has to fight Magomed Ankalaev to cement his legacy. It was just like, no, we like watching Pereira go in there and fight fun dudes and get knockouts. Like when Khalil Roundtree got the fight at UFC 307, yeah, there were some purists who were like, oh, this makes no sense. But most of us were like, this friggin' rocks. Like, these are the kinds of fights we want to see, despite Ankalaev like going on the run that he went on. The UFC was in absolutely no rush. They made Ankalaev fight again 2 weeks later against Alexander Rakic. They made him go so far back out into the rankings. It was insane. But hey, look, now we move on. Yes, I guess there is a path back for Ankalaev, but again, I don't think they're going to be in any rush to get him back in there. I think you do Jiri versus Ulberg. I'm actually, some breaking news. I'm actually talking to the great Jiri Prochazka tomorrow, which I'm very excited about this. It is a done deal. It is going down. And it'll be interesting to get his thoughts on the whole situation, because I kind of feel like Jiri wants to punch Ankalaev in the face a couple of times. So perhaps that could be on the table if Jiri wins the belt, but yeah, man, it's tough scenes for Ankalaev.
It is.
Honestly.
It is. But I mean, like you and I said, if Pereira leaves the division, Ankalaev, he's not going to get plugged in right away, probably. But 1 or 2 wins, he can find himself fighting whoever it is that becomes champion if Pereira leaves. So that's fine. But it's not a sexy storyline. It's not something that the UFC is pushing for. I don't think it's anything fans are clamoring for, and that sucks. That sucks, because if you look at Ankalaev's run up to and including the first Pereira fight, pretty damn good run, like 14 unbeaten. I know there's a no contest in there no one cares about. I know the Yan fight didn't like go his way. It's fine. We got a fun little draw that unfortunately may have ruined his career because Dana just crapped all over it. It's weird. I think when people look back on it, I hate when people are too with any sport, Mike. People do those like, oh, this dude was a problem. It'd be like a mixtape of like Kenny Anderson in the Celtics jersey, like Kenny Anderson Celtics, right? Yo, Kenny Anderson was a problem, bro. And it's like a highlight. I hate when people do that, but I do think like 5 years from now, people like put a screenshot of Ankalaev's Sure Dog page or whatever, and be like, wow, yo, this dude was like, wasn't this dude one of the best in the world? Like, we didn't give him his credit, and like I think he is. And it doesn't mean he's popular, doesn't mean people have to like him. But I hope I like to think people will look back on his run, and I don't think he's done. It's so weird. So we're talking about like, he's almost guaranteed to lose and never get a title fight again. Like, that seems like such a weird thing to say for a guy who was, again, essentially undefeated for like 5 years or something. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird that we're eulogizing him so much, but that's how definitive that result was at 320, right? It's just like, yeah, oh, he's done. It's just over.
The Kenny Anderson Celtics thing is so funny, because I was actually like talking to a buddy of mine, and someone was asking me about, and he was asking me about like Ankalaev and like who I would compare him to if it was like other sports. I didn't use Kenny Anderson as a Celtic, but I did use a former Celtics point guard. I was like, Magomed Ankalaev is like the Rajon Rondo of the UFC, where it's good. Like, he's going to have like 3 good years where he's like at the top, and then it's just like, oh, he's somewhere else. And we didn't realize it. We're like, oh, Rajon Rondo's on SportsCenter playing for the New Orleans Hornets or something, just like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But then we remember the behind the back, off the elbow passes down low to Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. And, he's just one of those guys. And I was just like, yeah, he's kind of like Rondo, where he had like some good years and people talked about him. If you weren't on his team, you hated him. But if you were on his team, you liked him. It was just a perfect, I thought it was a great example. So yeah, crazy scenes, just seeing how wild this is. This is all going down. There's just like a specific topic everybody seems to want to get into.
Yeah, I see a few good ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's start here. We do have UFC Rio coming up. Dustin Poirier has praised Gamrot for his hands and said to watch out for them. Do you think this could be a problem for Charles, considering he was just KO'd and many don't expect this from Gamrot? Are you concerned? I know obviously the Oliveira fighting shortly after getting absolutely annihilated by Ilia Topuria is concerning. And when they announced the physique matchup, the majority of people are like, why are we doing this? This is scary. I don't want this to happen. But the Gamrot one seems to have kind of curbed some of that. And now Poirier is coming out, who is obviously very familiar with Gamrot from their days at ATT and training together and whatnot. But how are you feeling about this, looking at it through the lens of someone who doesn't want to see Charles Oliveira get hurt? Does this make you feel better, or is there still some concern there, knowing that I think Gamrot, and I'm sure you agree with this too, I think Gamrot's striking is vastly underrated and doesn't get the credit it deserves.
And he hits hard. Like, Gamrot hits hard. Like, if you guys, you can question the technique a bit, but when the dude lands, he's actually got quite a bit of power. And the thing with Charles, the thing with Charles is everyone's so concerned about him now. Obviously, he's a bit older. He's had the recent brutal knockouts. He's just had a lot of combat sports mileage on him. Especially since he entered the UFC when he was like 20 years old. He was so young, like he's grown up in front of us, and it's been great. But we've seen him take a lot of damage. He never had an iron chin. There's no like era of Charles Oliveira where it's like, oh man, he used to just kind of walk through people's punches. Like, no, if you guys remember, like we always had the narrative of like when he got hurt and it was just he couldn't recover, right? And then he kind of bounced back from that, kind of destroyed that narrative, and at least learned to fight back from adversity and win a UFC championship. But he was still getting hurt during that run. I mean, even his UFC title fights, he was getting hurt. So that is a scary thing. So if he's in there with anybody that's got a bit of athleticism, got a bit of pop, and if Dustin Poirier is to be believed, has some really, really credible striking credentials, yes, you should be afraid of a Oliveira knockout. We know Gamrot primarily is a grappler. I think it'd be a really fun fight if that main event does turn to like some fun scrambles and then breaking out like submission attempts on each other, really testing each other's wrestling, takedowns, so that it'd be awesome. But I think your Gamrot, you are going in there thinking like, I'm going to throw hands with him. Not a safe proposition necessarily because Charles Oliveira himself has shown he has plenty of finishing power, even on the feet. But yeah, I think there's a lot of Oliveira fans who were temporarily kind of relieved when they saw it wasn't Fiziev. Of course, we know Fiziev primarily as a striker, does some insane spinning stuff. Just the thought of him like head kicking Charles and leaving a face plant on the mat, pretty dreadful if you're a Dope Bronx follower. And again, you've seen him suffer some really bad just knockdowns and knockouts in the last few years. But there's nothing safe about this fight. There's nothing safe about this fight. It's a new opponent. It's yes, hopefully someone will meet him in the grappling, but it is someone that like if this stays on the feet, there's at any time I think Gamrot could land a shot that puts Charles down. So great replacement main event. No complaints there. But not much of a relief for anyone who like doesn't want to see Oliveira's head maybe get knocked around again a little bit.
I was obviously fascinated by the Fiziev fight just because the UFC really likes him. Like they keep giving him huge fights in this division. There aren't a lot of guys who are on the rise who are trying to make a move that are getting the types of fights that Fiziev was getting Gaethje twice. And I know one was on short notice, and then getting a main event in Rio against Charles Oliveira. That's wild. That's freaking crazy. And now Gamrot's getting this opportunity. And I kind of like this fight better because Fiziev is like a super fan favorite, and a loss doesn't hurt him that bad. People are just like, oh, sick, Fiziev's fighting. And I think even if Oliveira loses, like it probably knocks him out of title contention. But at the same time, people just love him. He's not a superstar, but he's very popular. No matter where he goes, he is getting huge cheers and huge ovations and things of that nature. So a loss like doesn't hurt him too bad, especially with how long he's been in the sport. But man, Gamrot has to win. Like he needs this one so badly. And I know he's doing the UFC a solid here, but he's just not getting these fights. He goes and loses to Dan Hooker, and they give him Ludwig Klein. Like that's how they view him right now, as the top 10 guy. So he steps into this opportunity. And if he loses, I don't know if he gets another one. I think he just becomes like the dude that fights the Ludwig Kleins if he loses this fight. And not great if you're trying to capture that lightweight belt, which is already really tough to do anyways. I think Gamrot needs this one so bad, AK. I really do.
No, he does. I'm just looking at our rankings and I'm trying to think. Obviously, guys, if Gamrot wins, look for a rankings shakeup post for certainly next week. We'll have to write that one. I'm just wondering how much will he shake up the rankings. So looking at our rankings, which is honestly right now, I don't think is dissimilar from the UFC rankings. Of course, we have like Usman or Nurmagomedov in there, who wouldn't be in the UFC rankings. But I'm pretty sure numerically, like we're pretty similar. Obviously, Tapari number 1, that's a champion. We still have Arman number 2. I should break out the UFC ranking as well. While I'm talking about this, if I'm going to keep referring to them. So they also they still have Islam at lightweight, which is fair. He has not moved to welterweight yet, so they still have Islam there, and then Arman's behind them. Then Max Holloway, then Charles Oliveira at 4. So we both have Charles Oliveira at 4. Mike, does Gamrot I guess he just takes his spot, right? He is now the number 4 lightweight if he wins on Saturday. Like we mentioned the Hooker loss, which wasn't that long ago, a little over a year ago now. But with Hooker's inactivity, I know he has a fight book now, but with his inactivity up to this point, it does feel like maybe Gamrot should be allowed to leapfrog over him. It was a close fight, like not controversial, I would say necessarily, but it was a close fight. It's not like he got destroyed by Dan Hooker. So yeah, do you just leapfrog him over Charles and give him that number 4 spot, or are you going to have to do some like shift around to MMA math and like move Charles down and move like Justin Gaethje down, and so they're all behind Dan? I don't know. How are you going to do this? The MMA math is not going to work out cleanly if Gamrot wins.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Is Hooker 5 right now?
No, Hooker is 7. Hooker is 7. Again, we have Usman. If we're just talking about UFC, so excluding Usman, we have Oliveira 4, Gaethje 5, and then Hooker next. Hooker essentially is 6.
Yeah, it's gonna take some time. I'm gonna have to like go through it and carry some ones.
Does how he does it matter? If like we talked about, KOs Charles, or submits Charles, which would be amazing, but it's not like Charles hasn't been submitted before. If he finishes Charles in impressive fashion, does that immediately say, yeah, he jumps over Hooker? Like whatever. Forget August is a long time ago now, especially with how fast the game moves. August 2024.
Yeah, I mean, probably. Like the inactivity does hurt a little bit, and honestly, I kind of think like Armin's going to beat him anyways, so that will negate the problem in like a month. So, but I don't know. Hooker's a dog, man. He's tough. I don't know. Shout out to Wade. Can we get some more videos or lives with you two and Jed? Feel like y'all's humor and takes mesh really well together. Appreciate all the content. Yeah, there'll be a lot of that. Don't you worry.
Oh yeah. Jed's in the comments right now, guys. Hassle Jed if you want. Jed, it's your day off, I think. I don't know why. Go do something. Why are you around the comments? What a man of the people. What a man of the people, Jed.
Speaking of Jed, let's go to Jed questions. How are y'all feeling about my fantasy team with Malcolm Wellmaker allegedly getting booked? He is booked. Yep. He is fighting Serhi Sadai at UFC 322. We confirm multiple sources that is a done deal. First reported by the great Big Marcel, my man Marcel Dorf. Malcolm Wellmaker at Madison Square Garden, AK. They like him. They gave him a matchup. It's a step up. This is the toughest fight of his UFC run so far, for sure, but it's one he should probably win. Are you concerned, as someone who is playing in our MMA Fighting Fantasy League, that Malcolm Wellmaker is coming off the bench here?
I have not been. I admit, I was pretty good at updating our fantasy league. I think I went on a vacation, and then I never got back down to it. Mike? Do we know who's leading? It looks like Jed's doing pretty well. I'm just taking a cursory glance at the scoring here. Looks like Jed's doing pretty well.
I'm in second, I believe.
You're in second. Okay, I would imagine. Is Jed first? Jed is first, I guess.
Yeah, because most of his fighters fought in like the first 2 weeks.
I see. Yeah, I see. He's got. Kevin Holland coming up again. He got a loss for Kevin Holland, but now Kevin Holland's fighting next week. Like I said, Wellmaker, Brandon Moreno. Brandon Moreno is not booked, right?
He is not booked.
Not booked. Okay. And then but Carly Judice, is she fighting again? Is she fighting next week as well? Is he fighting again?
No, she's not booked.
Is she not booked?
She's not booked.
Anyway, so this is sorry guys. I'm running down just Jed's fantasy team. Okay, she's not booked, but who knows? She could. Okay, interesting. I'm concerned. He's had a really good second half of 2025 draft. Wellmaker just smashing. Now, City is tough though, right? I think City is tough to finish. Am I making this up? I do feel like he's got a.
Yeah, this is the toughest fight. This is the toughest fight he's had of his entire career.
Yeah, I mean, I still think Wellmaker will win, but City has never been finished. So yeah, that's a big test for a young guy who's used to just like smoking people. Interesting. Jed, if you're out there, I am not concerned. I think Surrey City. Good old Canadian boy will go the distance at the very least, and maybe even pull off an upset. We don't know. It's a wild card. City's a bit of a wild card, but I mean, I think Wellmaker's gonna be a huge favorite.
I just want to know who the D Brown of MMA is. That is a terrific question.
How do you even like? So D Brown, former Celtic and former Toronto Raptor, amazingly enough, dunk contest champion. If you remember, that was odd.
He put Reebok pumps on the map. with the no look, cover your face dunk. And that was like the best. I mean, that was the best moment of D Brown's entire basketball career.
Well, I was gonna say a little bit ahead of his time. A guy who shot like a lot of 3-pointers, like one of those guys who I feel like if you transport to today's NBA, I'm not saying he's an all-star or anything, but his skill set would be his one like great skill set would be even more like emphasized, right? Because he was a really really good 3-point shooter. But this was back in the day where unless you were like Real and unless you were someone like that, you're not shooting more than 3 or 4. If you shot like 3 threes a game, people would be like, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy! He's chucking up threes." So yes, that's weird. Again, because I don't even know how to classify D Brown as his role in NBA history, so much less finding an MMA equivalent. But
I'm trying to think.
What is the equivalent of a dunk contest title? The BMF title? No. I think BMF title.
Chris Barnett.
It's so random. I love it. I mean,
because like that moment against at MSG
with
against
John
Palante
oh, so good.
was like the greatest thing ever.
That was
Everyone
the pump.
went crazy.
Yeah.
That was the pump.
The front flip onto his butt was the pump.
It was the pump. It was the pump. I don't know. We have to think about that, but I think Chris Barnett's like pretty good.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty really good.
Oh, Jorge A says Joaquin Buckley.
Well, so
no,
honestly, that was the first name I thought of. But this welterweight run, it can't be.
No,
it can't be.
If you are ranked, if you reach like the tops, depending on the division, if you reach like the top 7 or 8 of the welterweight rankings, I almost feel like that's like an all-star appearance. I almost feel like you made an all-star team or something, right? I mean, I know, I think having to fight for a title is a little too high of a bar to set to consider a fighter like an all-star. Again, and it does depend on division, right? It's easier to be top 5 in like light heavyweight or heavyweight right now than it is to, welterweight, lightweight, etc., etc. So that's not bad. It's not bad, but I think it's a bit of a knock to Joaquin. I think Joaquin's a bit hard.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think Barnett's a really good pick. I think it's more Sergio Pettis than Joaquin.
Ooh, God, boy, that Sergio Pettis knockout that was this past Friday already, right? God, time moves so fast.
6 days ago, yeah.
The knockout itself was sick, like the actual strike, and then gosh, that follow up shot. This is one of the, just I think we talked about onto the next one. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I hope Magomedov was okay. That's all I keep saying, man. That was rough.
Jameek, what's next for Figgy and Luque if they both lose tomorrow?
Oh boy,
or on Saturday. Let's start with Vicente Luque. I feel like nothing changes for Vicente Luque. Like he's just gonna keep fighting these up and comers who hit really hard.
He's got a lot. There's no. I haven't heard anyway. There's no retirement talk, right?
Not that I have heard, no.
And I get it. He's only 33. This is that thing where we look at someone's, their real life age. We're like, he's only 33. And then you say, oh, but how long has this person been fighting for? He's been fighting for 16 years. 16 years and over a decade at the UFC level. And man, and getting in some battles, man. I mean, he's got some fast finishes in there too, but he's been in some battles. No, I wouldn't say Luque is going to retire. I think you're right. I don't think a lot changes for him. He must be a pretty big underdog to Joel Alvarez. Am I right?
Yeah, I believe. Boy. I just want to make sure. I believe Alvarez is like a minus 500 favorite.
Ooh, yeah, and you can understand.
Minus 560 according to our friends at FanDuel. That's didn't see that one coming. I knew Alvarez would be a big favorite, but approaching minus 600, I didn't see that coming.
That's big. Listen, young man coming up to that spot. Luque's durability, definitely probably not what it once was. And how can it be? 35 pro fights, guys. 35 pro fights in 16 years. And then add in the training, the travel, all that stuff. It can't be the same. And Alvarez is a big time finisher. So, Mike, I'm going to go with you. I want to believe that too. That, it doesn't hurt Luque's stock considerably. Like obviously Alvarez will move up a little bit, but it's not like Luque should plummet down the rankings. And probably going to have to keep fighting this next generation of welterweights because there's a few good guys coming up and they got to fight somebody in the top 20, top 15, top 25. And Luque might just be one of those names now they keep throwing out there.
Or we can give him Neil Magny. They never fought each other.
That's shocking.
Right?
That is shocking.
I thought they fought like 18 times. Figgy's going to lose to Montel Jackson. I'm just throwing that out there. Mm-hmm. Like the longest running take of my entire MMA career is that Montel Jackson's really good at fighting and he's going to fight for a belt. We're approaching 10 years on that initial take. So this is it. Like this is his chance for, if he doesn't beat Davis and Figueiredo, he ain't fighting for a belt. Like this is everything right now for that take, for Montel's title hopes, all of that. He must win on Saturday. And I think he's got a really good chance to do it. And I think he's going to win. I don't know if he finishes Figgy, but he's very good at fist fighting. He hits really, really hard. He's a super athlete. Last time he got a big opportunity at a big fight, didn't go very well. The Brett Johns one was like the big, let's boost you up fight. And he didn't show up. So perhaps this is the one. And if Figgy loses, there's fun fights for him. Bantamweight's a great division. So Figgy O'Malley, I mean, there's a million ways we can go with this.
Yeah.
So do Figgy. Just Bantamweight's great. Bantamweight's great.
Yeah, he'll be okay, but I just don't think. I think at that point, a title shot has to be out of the question. Our own Guillermo Cruz, of course, spoke to Figgy, and I believe that's by the time. I think right now, guys, I think you can go to MMAfighting.com. Pretty sure that story is up there. Yeah, and obviously he's saying what he should say ahead of a fight where he's on the main card. Like, yes, if I beat Montel Jackson and then string together another win, I think I could fight Merab Dvalishvili. He's cleared out so many of the other challengers, and I think I have a game plan, to beat the machine, which no one else has. So Figgy's saying all the right things, but if he loses 3 straight losses, I mean, no shame. He beat Petr Yan, Corey Sandhagen, Montel Jackson. But that's a hard thing to climb out of. And as he mentions in his interview with Gui, he's 38. He's 38 in December, and this is not a young man's division. I know he's moving up to. I know it's 135, so you could be, maybe have a little bit. The speed loss isn't quite as bad, but it's still bad. I mean, 135 up to 145. These are all speedy, athletic divisions, and even for a guy who's in as great a shape as Figueiredo is, still fast, still strong, still hits hard. 38's 38, man. I don't care what you're doing as an athlete. That's a tough way. That's a tough place to reach. And he might need to take a step back in competition, Mike. So I don't know. I don't know if we do like O'Malley stuff after. I think maybe we have to put him up against like outside the top 15. But again, then you face the problem of it being young, hungry guys, and you're just a gatekeeper. So it's murky. But yeah, both guys should continue to be competing after UFC Rio, and probably still have some name fights up ahead for them.
Let's go to the real main event. If Walter Walker gets another heel hook on Usman, should he go into the heel hook Hall of Fame? Maybe we can get Mike the Heck hooked to induct him. I can't wait for that fight. I wish it was the curtain jerker. I really do, because we would watch that all together. and it's going to be glorious.
Boy, heel hooking Mo Usman. Let me look at Mo Usman's submission history. He has to be one of those guys who's not been submitted, right?
I mean,
let me take a glance here, guys.
He's either fought guys that he's 100 million times better than on the regional scene, or
how did I forget this?
What happened?
He was submitted by Brandon Sales in ahead of PFL back in PFL in 2020. I interviewed Mo before that fight. I remember this now. I actually interviewed Mo before this fight. So how could I feel like I interviewed Brandon too, though. Or maybe I interviewed Brandon later. Maybe I know I interviewed Brandon ahead of a different fight. Maybe it wasn't ahead of the Mo fight. Yes, right. Oh, but that's a long time ago, guys. That's one submission loss. I'll just say this nicely. It's you're in favorable position not to get finished when you don't do things. Is that Mike? He is a tactical fighter who is not going to get, he's going to work hard to not get into positions where he can be knocked out or where he can be submitted. That is the Mo Usman experience. Okay. And it's fine. It's led to some decent success in the UFC, a winning record at the very least. I mean, you can say what you want about how compelling the fights are. 4-2. Maybe
Buchecha was who he fought, right?
Who?
Mo?
No.
No. Buchecha was shit.
Buchecha, who did he fight?
The dude who was ranked and got released. He shouldn't have.
Oh man.
Oh my god, dude.
Don't tell. I'm not looking at the chat. Don't tell. Mike, you and I are of the age where we need to remember things on the spot or it will be gone forever. You know what I'm saying? We cannot give up on training our brains. Well, let's give ourselves 10 seconds, guys. You guys can count down. Let's give ourselves 10 seconds. I'm not looking at the comments because I know you guys know. 5.
Martin Budai. Fuck.
Did you
can't believe that took me that long.
You got it?
Yeah, Martin Budai.
Okay. Good job. Yeah, we got people in the comments that knew. Thank you guys. But I did not. Mike, I wasn't close. Thank God. Your brain's still working. Mine is clearly fried.
Yeah, that was embarrassing that it took me that long to figure that out, honestly.
It's too much MMA these days, man. Too much.
I picked up Dana Barros. I was thinking of Dana Barros as lazy bitch talking about I remember Boston College's own Dana Barros before I remember Martin Budai.
Didn't Dana Barros? Didn't he make an all-star team somehow?
Yeah, dude was a shooter. I watched him play at BC and at the Garden.
Did he also have a 50-point game? No, he didn't have a 50-point game. No,
he might have. I don't know if he had a 50.
He did. He
did have a 50.
He had a March 1990. I remember. He's one of those random guys where if you told me he made, like, I only remember him because he's someone who I'm like, wait, this guy made an All-Star team and had a 50-point game once upon a time, and it's like, yeah, he did. It was a weird time. This is the I think 95 would have been, I think, no Jordan, non-Jordan year. They were weird. Go back to 94, 95. Look at those All-Star teams and like All NBA teams. It's weird. So Latrell Sprewell made an All NBA first team once upon a time. It was a very strange time.
You never know.
Crazy.
Yes, this is the once a show lazy bed question. This is Joseph Boza can't ask about Macy Chiasson anymore. So Lazy Bet is taking it over with another women's bantamweight. He's going with Bia Mesquita, the lady goat of BJJ, making her UFC debut on Saturday. The big knock is obviously her age at 34. What is her ceiling, AK, in this women's bantamweight division? I feel like you're the man to ask here.
It's not that big of a knock because women's bantamweight is essentially heavyweight. That is the heavyweight. So 34 is actually like young, and again, she has mileage outside of MMA, like a ton of combat sports experience outside of MMA, obviously. So it's not like she's a fresh 34. Like there's some wear and tear in those joints. There's some serious wear and tear in those joints. But MMA is a different thing. So as far as getting punched in the face and kicked in the stomach and all this other stuff that your leg chopped to pieces, of that, she is relatively fresh. I think the ceiling is actually really high. Again, depending how long. The division is such a weird place because we are all waiting for Amanda and Kayla, which we know is going to get booked. We're thinking early 2026. I still think there's a weird chance that they try and push this to UFC White House again, just because of Kayla being an American champion. I think they would. There's also always a possibility that like whatever happens with the Kayla Amanda fight, like even if Amanda wins, Amanda retires, then you have Kayla fight someone for a once again vacant bantamweight title. The White House. It's such a horrible scenario to play out. But yeah, Bea is not far away because depending what happens, I don't think Amanda Nunes is sticking around long, win or lose in her fight with Kayla. Kayla will need fresh challengers at some point, and legitimately based on the hype. As long as Bea doesn't like drop like a Buchecha stink bomb in her UFC debut, if she gets a convincing win, if she gets, of course, ideally a submission or ground and pound finish, then yes, she's really like only 2 or 3 fights away. There is no bantamweight division. There's barely any contender line, and the ones that are contenders, like Macy Chiasson, just keep slipping on banana peels. So and there's a lot of inactivity too. So yeah, upside's super high. If you're asking, can she compete for the UFC title? I would almost like if we're doing like true false, Mike, will Bia Mesquita someday challenge for the UFC title at 135? I'm probably just taking true. I just think the field is so wide.
Ask me Saturday night. If she wins on Saturday, my answer will be yes. And I think she will win on Saturday. What are the betting odds for that fight?
She's
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Minus 530.
Woo!
Yeah. Minus 530.
That's a lot for a newcomer. I always say the UFC these days, someone that's a newcomer that has less than like 6 pro fights, I would always say that's I don't know. So Ankalaev is what, plus 400, plus 300, plus 400, something like that. I imagine. I don't think it's like in
plus 360.
Plus 360. Honestly, like if I were a betting person, I would just put money on that because there's just no way to. It's not as predictable as the Alice Pereira one. Like that was messed up. Alice Pereira was also a big favorite, but I think we all just kind of knew like, wow, that she definitely should not have that number next to her name. That was wild. But in this case, we know Ankalaev a little more, and I guess we have a better feel for Mesquita just based on her BJJ experience. But that's a big number.
I think she wins like 2 fights and fights for the belt.
Who's going to stop her?
Seriously. Maybe 3. She has to win 2 more after Saturday, and then she's there.
Bad. Such a bad division.
It's awful. AK, do you know who the number 15 ranked women's bantamweight is?
By the UFC?
By the UFC.
Nora Cornole.
No, she's number 12.
Stop it. I'm trying to.
Hold on. I'm gonna run it down for you. Okay,
good. Yeah.
Pena, Pennington, Vieira, Dumont, Santos is number 5. She would jump to 5. Yana Santos is the number 5 women's ranked bantamweight.
She's streaking.
Arini Aldana, Macy Chiasson, Eileen Perez, Carol Hosa, Mayra Buena Silva, number 10. Number 11, Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Nora Cornole is number 12. Number 13 is Misha Tate. Number 14 is Jocelyn Edwards. Who is number 15, AK? If you get this, I might give you
Josie Ann Nunes?
No, it is Daria Zeleniakova.
Okay.
Do you remember who she beat?
I remember she beat Melissa Mullins once upon a time, or Melissa Mullins beat her in Aries. Aries was like, is Alex also from Aries? I remember Aries FC, like they produced like 3 bantamweights at the UFC sign. I was like, oh cool, maybe the bantamweight division will start moving again, and they just kind of like beat each other up. And anyway. No, who did Daria Zilznikova beat?
I have no idea.
Okay,
Melissa Mullins. Yeah,
she did. See what? How do I do it? I knew
in a bloody battle.
Yeah. Okay, that I knew.
She lost to. She beat Mullins. She lost to Eileen Perez, and she beat Rendon. She's 2-1.
Someone just win 3 fights in a row. Well, I said that Yana Santos, I think, has won 3 or 4 fights in a row. So I'm telling you, maybe Yana's the one that's going to get a title shot, and then Bia will be next in line. I don't know. I just want to know what's happening with this Kayla Nunes fight. Let's get this announced before December, if that's okay.
Speaking of betting odds, opening odds for UFC 320 out of Mario Bautista is a plus 300 underdog to Umar Nurmagomedov's minus 430. Does this line feel too wide, too close, or just right?
That's a great question. And I say this as like a huge Umar stan. You guys know me. Every show I'm on, I keep saying Umar's going to be the one. Give him another shot at Merab. He'll beat Merab. I do think that is a wide line. I think we've seen Mario Bautista drags people into difficult fights. He's really adaptable. He's a good athlete. He fights smart. And I think he has skills too. I think people again, we see him, maybe a little too like myopic with his tactics sometimes. We're all thinking about the Jose Aldo fight, of course, just holding against the fans, blah, blah. But like he can strike. Like he's a very good striker. He can wrestle. He's very well rounded. He's kind of just the classic modern MMA fighter. But again, with a bit of athleticism, good physical tools, and and a good mind for the game. So I certainly would favor Umar. Minus 300 is like a lot. It's pretty disrespectful for a guy who's because Mario's on like a 8-fight win streak right now or something, and some good names in there. So it is surprising to me. Again, were I a betting man, I don't think I'm going to touch this one. But were I, I would happily put an underdog bet on Mario Bautista. And I think Umar is great. I think Umar is going to be the best bantamweight someday. He's not right now. That's Merab Dvalishvili, but again, a lot can happen in a fight like that. So, a little wide. I wouldn't say super wide. A little wide for me. A little disrespectful.
Yeah, this is actually really good matchmaking. This is picture perfect. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out everything we need to know about young Umar Nurmagomedov in this fight, and we're gonna find out if Mario Bautista is going to fight for a UFC belt. Like, because if you lose, that's where the stakes are at. Like, I do think Umar can sort of bounce back. I do think his road gets a little longer, like multiple fights longer if he loses this fight. But if Mario loses, like, I don't know if he ever fights for the belt. Even though he's on like a good run, it's got this 8-fight win streak, and he's got some good wins. This is it, man. Like, this is his shot.
Yep.
So we'll see if he can get it done. I'm super fascinated by this fight because I want to see what sort of game plan Mario is going to have. Because I know he's been telling people Merab wrote the blueprint on how to beat him. How do you implement a Merab game plan if you're not Merab? That's what I want to know. Is he just going to like go bananas on him for 15 minutes and hope that he gets tired? I don't know. But I do know Umar can get jawed, man. He got jawed 2 fights before the Merab fight. And Mario's good, man. Like, I think there's a ton of value there. Yeah,
I think that's his best shot. You have to throw some hands. Don't, maybe this is one fight where Mario doesn't want to overthink it, because I think Umar's a pretty smart fighter as well. Maybe you put the pressure on him. Just put the pressure on him really and start throwing some hands, take some risks, which is a scary thing because, again, Umar is a really good striker as well. But, I would love to see if Mario embraces that underdog status and says, okay, you see the number. Here's the numbers, plus 400. Well, I'm going to fight plus 400 style and just go in. And people expect me to lose anyway. Let's see what happens.
Sleeto, did you guys watch the Dana White's Contender Series co-main event, or what do we call it?
You know what? Retroactively, Mike, now this was a co-main event.
That's a main event.
Yeah, now it's
it's like a super duper main event.
Damn. Credit to the UFC. They put up that fight as soon as they could. They do for free on their YouTube channel. That fight. Luna Martinelli and what's the other gentleman's?
Mark Vologdin.
They did. UFC put it right up, and that's good because there was so much social media buzz about it right away. All I saw on Tuesday night was people like, "Holy Like, I hope you're watching Contenders. I did not watch it live. I'm a poser, guys. I watched the next day. But yeah, I did see the reaction. I was out, and I'm always on Twitter, and I saw the reaction. Like, wow, everyone's talking about this fight. And then I don't remember if they put the fight on that night or the next morning or something. But within 12 hours, no Fight Pass needed, no ESPN Plus subscription, none of that stuff. Go to YouTube, watch this fight. Such a great idea. Good for both guys. I believe they both got contracts, even though a vlog didn't come out with the decision. But that second round, especially, a great fight all the way around. That special. What are we doing? What are we doing? What's going on? Defense? Vlog to defense, bro. Oh my god, amazing! I mean, congrats to both guys, and they got $25,000 each, $25,000 each. Congrats. Yep. Should be to way me, more. This was the second best fight in Contender Series history. It was the second best fight. It was great. Jed says second round was round of the year. I think if we do like crazy other awards, that has to be in the top 3 worst case scenario, because like, I don't know, man. Like Kevin Holland and D-Rod round 3 was like incredibly fun. Yeah. And I think if we like really go back and check that out, we just saw Yuri and Khalil round 3 was bananas. It was awesome. I thought Kevin Vallejo's John Silva was the second best Contender Series fight until this one happened. This one leapfrogged that one. Yeah, wow. I cannot jump this over Sadiq Youssef versus Mike Davis, though. I can't. I just can't. That was not only was that fight incredibly fun, but it was so high level too, because as fun as this fight was, there has to be a but here. This was not a high level fight, right? This was not a these are not like either one of these two dudes could be like ranked in their division kind of a fight. When we watched like Youssef and Mike Davis, we were like, okay, these two dudes are both going to have long runs in the UFC. And that is okay. Because that's just that's what the Contender Series is now. When Sadiq Youssef, Mike Davis happened, these were like, we're looking for the best dudes that are not in the UFC fighting each other. The Contender Series now is a business venture, and it's also run like a pro wrestling show where it is squash matches, and then they'll find like one big fight that's like going to be a banger, and then the main event is going to be a guy to kind of hopefully showcase really fun skills because we want them or we have a good relationship with their management. It was so good. It was so fun. I just cannot rank it above the Davis Youssef fight. I can't do it. And speaking of squash matches, what was going on with the Pergantino fight? Like what? I had never seen, I don't know if I've ever seen so many, I guess most of the people in the media, I guess most people don't know who Pergantino is. I was not familiar with him before Contender Series, but a lot of people I see who make picks and prognosticate said like pretty much every write-up I saw like for preview for this week's Contender Series was like, why is this guy in the UFC? He just is not ready. Like apparently like the tape, you see whatever a 5-0 record, but apparently the tape is just atrocious on this guy. Yeah. And she got lost in 15 seconds against a guy who's very highly touted in Luke Fernandez. So this was exactly the squash match you were talking about, Mike, like where, again, if you're like me, you're not familiar with both guys and you just look at the records like, oh, 5-0, 5-0. Cool. Can't wait to see which guy wins the contract. You're like, apparently it was like fait accompli that Fernandez was going to win a contract and not just got a contract, but smoke this dude. But not to go on an anti-UFC rant, guys, but I will just say like it kills me a little bit that Fernandez is now signed, I assume locked into a Contender Series contract. We all know the details of those. When apparently, again, I know there's been quite a bit of hype around him. A guy like this, I feel like should be able to negotiate, one, not have to go through Contender Series, and two, should be able to negotiate a little more money than a standard contract based on the hype I'm hearing. But I get it. That's not how the industry works. It's not how the UFC works. He doesn't have a name. Your average mom and pop on the corner doesn't know who Luke Fernandez is. So he's only worth X amount of dollars via Contender Series. I get it. I'm just like, projecting a fantasy world here that he could, negotiate as a proper free agent would. Yeah. Great fight. This is when I saw, because I forgot that fight was even happening on this card, because I'm not as like locked into Contender Series as I used to be. That was like for years, as you know, AK, that was my favorite show. Like I enjoyed Contender Series like more than most UFC events. Love it. Just because of what it meant, because I love talking to the regional fighters. I was very tapped into the regional scene. I knew who the best guys and the best gals were. And now I know like the UFC isn't tackling those fighters anymore. It's a whole different business post-COVID, where it's just like, if you live in Las Vegas and you can fight in 5 days, like you're in the UFC. Like that's how you get in now.
where it makes the Contender Series like almost not invaluable, because then we get great fights like we had on Tuesday, and we get to see some fun fighters who have big upside as well. And then you get this fight. Like, this to me, when I saw like that this fight was, when I looked at MMA fighting and I was like, oh, this is the first fight, I was like, this is Brian Battle fighting Derek de Freitas in dirty boxing. Like, that's what this fight like to me was like, oh my God, this is the squashiest of squash matches that I've ever seen on the Contender Series. So yeah, I wish they were like way cooler fights than we once got. But I will say, I have had fun watching Contender Series this season. I really have, except for the first episode, which is pretty awful.
But the vibes overall is to me, last season, was it last season or the season before? I feel like it hit a real low. Like, as far as
last season, I thought was really good.
Fine. Okay, so maybe it was the season before. I remember there was a point where it hit a low, where it was like both the names that were being signed and also just the quality.
The Joe Pyfer season, I think, was the really bad.
Well,
season.
That's how beat Joe Pyfer happened, right? He was so upset with everyone else in that card, right? He was just like, "Listen, please, everyone, just be like this guy." But it looks like it's bouncing back a little bit. I think, like you said, Mike, because I think the booking has gotten a little sharper. I think they're trying less to make like what was it, Brendan Loughnane and like Bill Algeo matchups, and maybe a little more of just like, yeah, let's showcase matches where you can showcase someone, or like we got in that lovely co-main event where we know these guys are going to put on a brawl, and this is a great clip to put, a great thing to go social, a great thing we can, if it goes well, put up on our YouTube, and keep the Contender Series buzz going, because next week the season's over, right? This is the season 10, season 9. What a way to go out and say, get people hyped up for next season. Get people, always leave them wanting more. George Costanza, right? They're going to George Costanza it, and then by even if week 10 is a dud, they're going to remember week 9, the co-main, and be like, can't wait for more Contender Series in X amount of months. So well done, matchmakers, I guess.
And I know Dana has said, like, I want to do more of these. Please don't.
No.
Please don't. Honestly, like, if you want to knock off 2 weeks and just do 8 weeks, honestly, that's the way to go. Like, This needs to be very special. We need to anticipate Contender Series again. We can't just like expect it to happen. It can't be the regular UFC schedule where it's like, oh, here's all these events, and then we'll take 3 weeks off, and then we're back with another season. No. We don't need that. Shout out to Craig, who Red Sox are back, yet you lost to the Yankees. 2004. You will never, Yankee fans will never, ever, ever get over on Red Sox fans because of 2004. Ever. You could beat us in the next 20 playoff series, and you are a historical doormat because you blew a 3-0 lead in the ALCS. You are the only team to do that. You were the first, the very first, and you did it to the team who went out there and stomped the St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series. You will never be able to make me feel bad about the Yankees beating the Red Sox. I'm sorry. You'll never be able to do it. Much like, and I'll say this in the same vein, much like I can't shit on Giants fans. As a Patriots fan, you guys ruined the undefeated season. We pissed it away. I'll never take that away from you guys. Even if we beat you 5 trillion times. Whatever happened in 2007, don't matter. It doesn't matter. You guys, the Giants have one up over the Patriots, that's for sure. Which fighter will be the most successful from this Contender Series season?
I'm the wrong person to ask on this, guys. I did not watch every episode. I look forward to Jed's yearly
it's Jimmy. It's got to be Jimmy Suss, right?
The other great, not John Pork.
Not
so good.
I love that.
So good. I mean, Jimmy Suss is already off. His UFC career is already kicked off in earnest. I mean,
and he's fighting at MSG. Like, they're going to push the shit out of it. I'm going to say Jimmy Suss. I think he's the guy.
I believe you. Like I said, I'm the wrong guy to ask here. I definitely have not kept up with every event and every prospect that's come out of it. But I hope that's the case. I hope that's he's got a good gimmick going. Gosh, that UNC drama is wild.
God, he is locked into like the cultiest relationship ever.
Tough.
I actually meant to look this up, and I will do so later. I'm pretty sure, and this is from someone like that I trust in the sports reporting world, or like that can find these things, that UNC's latest football game, Getty Images put up like 45 images from that game, and 23 of them featured Belichick's girlfriend. And I want to look this up for sure, but like, I'm telling you, I'm not surprised by this. I wouldn't be surprised if this is written in Bill Belichick's contract that Getty Images has to put at least 20 photos of his girlfriend up.
I'll believe anything now, man. Every story I see coming out of this whole drama is just like, what? So I'll believe
so
literally
weird, man.
any rumor, any report you put out about this Bill Belichick UNC saga, I will believe. It's just crazy.
She is, dude. She is. That whole relationship is incredibly strange. Mike and AK, interested to hear your thoughts on Ian Garry versus Belal, Masters of the Universe Classic. How do you see that fight going? Belal dropped a response video the other day, and I guess Garry did too. I got to tell you, AK, I'll let you weigh in on this, but if there's one fight that I don't need any build for, I don't want to hear one interview. I don't want a press conference. I don't want social media responses. I wish we could just fast forward and just throw these two dudes in a cage, have a fight, and then we could be done with it. It's this one. Because the trash talk is going to be atrocious.
Okay, thank you. I thought you were trying to say, like, I'm so hyped for this fight.
No, I just want them to fight and be done with all of this.
It's both the quality of the fight, the great quality of the fight, and the poor quality of the trash talk we're going to see in the. Yes, oh my gosh, the memes, the quotes, the little clip drops. Like, oh my gosh, I don't want, and I like the fight. Like, I want to see the fight. The fight makes so much sense. I mean, I wish we had gotten Belal and Kamaru. Do we know why Belal and Kamaru didn't happen? It's just nothing, right? We don't. There's no injury or anything, right? It's just, as far as we know, just didn't materialize, right?
First of all, if I'm Kamaru Usman, I ain't fighting Belal right now.
No.
Well, I would not take a fight with anybody until UFC 322 ends, because I truly believe in my heart of hearts, and I know Jed didn't agree with me on this, but I truly believe this to be true. If Islam Makhachev beats Jack Della Maddalena, he's going to fight Kamaru Usman in his final fight. He wants the legacy. He's going to say, oh, he's the greatest welterweight of all time. He's better than George St. Pierre. And it's going to make me want to throw up because it's not true. But this is how Islam will cement the legacy, right? He'll beat the second or third greatest welterweight of all time, the best modern era post-COVID welterweight of all time in Kamaru Usman. So I think that's what he does. I think that's the more sort of significant fight. And it's an easy fight to make because they're both managed by the same guy, as She Loves the Gloves just pointed out. So that's what it comes down to for me. So that if I'm Usman, I'm waiting to see. If Jack Della Maddalena wins, Usman's in trouble. He's going to have to fight again. He's probably going to have to fight Shavkat Rakhmonov or somebody like that.
Man, I felt nauseous with you laying out the scenario, because it's totally right. I mean, you're right. He had no reason to take the Belal fight with a potential Islam fight in the table. Oh gosh. But yes, back to Belal and IMG. I'm just trying to think. What was my pick? What was my initial thought when I saw this? Who's going to win this fight? It's so easy to pick against Belal, but he's actually like, I mean, he's so disrespected. And really, I liked a lot of what he did in the JDM fight. I mean, yes, we would have liked to see him, I can't believe I'm saying this, maybe mix the martial arts a little bit more against a guy who I think still had the edge in striking. I mean, the decision certainly bore that out. But he looked good in the feet. It's not like Belal looked like crap on the feet. He looked good. He just got beat. He got beat. So I do want to see him mix it up more. I wonder how much he'll mix it up against Ian Machado Garry, or refine this striking strategy even further. Because Garry is also a good grappler. Like, I know we know him a lot for his striking. He's also a very good grappler. So maybe Belal will trust his hands. Maybe after that JDM fight, even though he lost, he's even more emboldened to show off what he can do in the feet. So I actually think this would be, and I also think the grappling will just kind of neutralize each other. I just don't see either guy dominating in that regard. So I will lean Belal. Guys, I'm going to lean Belal. That's my preliminary pick. I could obviously very likely will change before UFC Qatar, but I'll say Belal. Mike, I don't know where you're going with that.
I'll probably lean Garry, but I don't know. I don't know. It's a tough one to call. I think I'll lean Ian though, because I do think a lot of this. I do think Ian's grappling is vastly underrated. I do have concerns. I think it's being a 3-round fight really benefits Ian Machado Garry, because we saw him gas out bad while preparing for a 5-round fight. He was getting ready for a main event on a specific date that he knew about, and Carlos Prates steps in on like real short notice to take the fight, and Carlos seemed like the fresher dude after 5 rounds. So I'm a little concerned there that Belal can just sort of outpace him and wear him down a little bit. But I think skill for skill, Garry's probably a little sharper, but we've seen Garry getting some tough spots, man, but that's just sort of the adventure that is mixed martial arts and trying to evolve and get to your peak of your abilities. So it's a huge fight for both guys. Massive for Belal. I mean massive, because I don't think he gets title fight win or lose in this fight. So yeah, he's in a weird spot.
He's never touching it again if he loses.
Oh, 100%.
It's over. It's just never touching again.
I think the only way he gets a title fight is if Usman wins the belt. I think that's the only way he gets another one anyways.
I like that.
That'd be a big one. That would be a big one. What else we got? A lot of Contender Series. Jed weighed in on, let me try to find this. Yeah, some good ones. Laboyniani was a good one. Samuel Sanchez. There's another one. David McGoyan is very good. He's the guy who lost to Sean O'Malley's teammate, which his name is escaping me right now. I got like mush brain today. It
happens to us, guys.
Tommy McMillan, that's his name. That's another guy that I think could do really well. I think the UFC is going to really push him because he's very O'Malley-ish in a lot of ways. And
they like that.
I have a feeling that when Sean actually fights, he'll probably be on the card as well.
Mike, can I read this? Okay, let's go ahead. I'll read a question.
Well, this real quick. Is Michael Morales booked? Seems a bit quiet there.
I don't know what's up.
I do. But it's not officially official, so I can't say anything.
Okay, but no, he's not dealing with any injury or anything like that, right? He's just
I think I'm honestly surprised they haven't announced it, but maybe something happened along the way. I don't know. Perhaps expect news soon, but the last I heard he was booked, but it's just a matter of when they announce and if it's happening. So
he's in a very tricky position right now, because if anything like the scenario you laid out before happens, Mike, then he's not getting anywhere close to a title shot in 2026. It's just not. There's no room where he gets a title shot in 20. If you're talking about the Islam, Kamaru Usman, who knows what else, maybe Belal, like I said, Belal fits in there somewhere, or whoever wins, at UFC Qatar fits in there somewhere. And he's a boogeyman. He's also a scary thing where he's this boogeyman where it's great. He knocked off Gilbert Burns, which should have opened the door for him to get all these like top 6, top 7 fights. But instead, he has made himself so dangerous now that if you're in the top 6, top 7, top 8, you're just like, yeah, I'm good. I'm not going to, why would I fight Michael Morales? I want no piece of him. So it's weird. He needs like 1 or 2 more good wins. I just don't know how Michael Morales is going to get those wins now, given who's left at the top 8 of the welterweight contender line. So he's going to have to stay busy. I have a feeling he's probably actually going to end up fighting back. I don't see a scenario where he doesn't fight back. I think I can't remember what we said. No, I think we did have some good options for him, but he's in a very dangerous position where he's got fights coming up. We're probably, and I'm not sure which fight you're talking about, Mike. That's TBD or TBA, I should say. But he really has a lot more to lose than he has to gain, I feel like, in a lot of these potential matchups. I think Michael Morales is like a future champion, but I think like 2027 is when we're gonna get to find out.
Yep. She loves the gloves. Mike and AK, thoughts on Alex Topuria versus Bekzat? Wonder if Alex will stand with him for too long.
Man, Bekzat Almakhan.
It's a good fight, man.
Boy, they are
a good fight.
They are not bringing Alexander Topuria along easily, and I don't think he wanted that. I think the whole idea was like, and they've talked about it before, like that Alexander would probably be a little bit further along in his career if they weren't so focused on. He wasn't such a key part of building up Ilya for his fights, right? Because I think they both said like when Ilya has a fight prepared, they don't do like dual camps. It's like it's all about Ilya, and obviously Ilya has been so active at so many big fights that if you're Alexander, then you're focused on your brother, and that's great, that's awesome. But it has kind of held Alexander's career back. But I think that's why he's getting matchups like this where he's being thrown right into the fire. So I think I like Topuria to win, but Almakhan winning would not surprise me. That's just a hell of a tough matchup.
I love it.
Yeah, really good
terrific matchmaking. Yep. And look, I mean, hardcore fans know how good Bekzat is. So this is one of those situations where, like, if Topuria loses, like, it's not the end of the world. Like, no one cares. But if he wins, then you could really play up like how good Bekzat actually is. Like, this is the dude that almost knocked out Umar in like the first minute of their fight on like super short notice. He's a tough out. I think it's gonna be a tough fight for Topuria, but we shall see. Maybe he's leveled up. Maybe he's ready for this. I don't know, but Bekzat is really, really good. This is an interesting question. Name one prospect outside of the UFC that has never had a Contender Series shot who you feel should be given a chance today. So I'm going to widen the net here, AK. I'm going to take the word prospect out, and I'm going to put the word fighter in. Okay?
Okay.
Because prospect is, to me, to me, the definition of prospect is like a 25-year-old who's like running through the regional scene, like, you know, the Luis Hernandezes of the world that are just like trying to get in. Instead of fighting Sean Strickland like in a fight after a win when he charges the cage and punches you, like he's probably UFC ready. Like he's probably really close to being UFC ready. But I think they'll straight sign him because of the viral moment with Sean. But like, who's a fighter that the UFC has sort of missed out on getting in or getting back in that should get a Contender Series shot?
I think there'd be nothing funnier than getting Jay Ellis. Now, Jay is worth a lot more for the record. Jay's what, 100-something fights in his resume or something. He should not be fighting for like 12 and 12 or 16, whatever the Contender Series contract is. But he's definitely a guy who's never actually getting signed to the UFC unless they randomly said, Jay, you know, we know you're out there. We know we'd love to have UFC on your resume someday. Contender Series, impress us. Or Mike, they use him as in the squash role, unfortunately, in the jobber role, which is also entirely possible. I don't know. So I think Jay Ellis, God bless him, would be so weird for him to be on there.
Give him Luke Fernandez. Just bring Luke back.
I guess. Yeah.
Some good ones here. 2 flyweights for me, Pumi Nakuda and Belal Hassan. I like both of those.
Yeah.
Pumi was not on Contender Series. For some reason, they just don't give him the chance. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
I think like Pumi's one of those guys that just sign him. Like he's a guy I don't even want him to. Why does he have to go through Contender Series? I just feel like, I shouldn't ask this question, I guess, in the day and age, the way the UFC is, but
100%. That is the correct answer. Thank you, Jed. Jed knew where I was going this immediately. That is 100% the correct answer. How he was not on that comeback season of The Ultimate Fighter is a travesty. It is a travesty of epic proportions. Will Brooks being on Contender Series as like a 38-year-old would be incredible. It'd be spectacular. Honestly, I loved the Kevin Lee idea of fighting on the Contender Series at that time.
That was really smart.
I love that idea up until his last fight. Now I don't want to see Kevin Lee fight ever again, but it would have been great to throw him on Contender Series. Imagine like a guy on the regional scene trying to get into the UFC and they throw him in there with Kevin Lee as his like Contender Series tryout fight. That'd be sick. That'd be incredible. Yeah. Pumi should be in the UFC, but
yeah,
I have a feeling they're probably going to Contender Series him because for some reason he's not finishing a bunch of dudes and he's not getting the opportunity. Isaac Thompson is fighting on Friday for LFA. He's real good. He is a little young. He's a little green.
Perfect.
He's getting better and better. Australian kid, really fun. I like him a lot. I think a win here probably gets him a good Contender Series opportunity next summer. I don't know if they just rush him right into the UFC. Yeah, Jared Brooks would be interesting. I don't hate that. I feel like Jared never really got that like big opportunity.
I was going to say like Joe Giannetti, but I think he actually just lost. The problem with Joe is like
Joe just lost to Dakota Bush.
Yeah, he just hasn't been able to put together the like 3, 4, 5 fight win streak on the regionals because the UFC's had a look at him already. He was on the Ultimate Fighter. I forget, did he actually log an official UFC fight? He did, right? No.
He fought in the finale, didn't he?
Yeah, but outside of that, was that it? He just had the finale?
That was it.
Oh,
yeah, just had the finale fight.
It's weird because I know he's like a UFC level guy. It's just you got to put together 4 or 5 straight wins or something to get back, and it's always something like I say he just lost, right?
Or it's like a weight miss or something. You know, reputation and being reliable, is huge, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's really big. Ryan Burgos, yeah, that's somebody to watch. I wonder what Shane, like, I'd love to see Shane back in the UFC as a lightweight for this like final run. He hasn't fought since 2023, AK.
Damn.
We're approaching 3 years without Shane Burgos fight.
Is he caught up in the did he get caught up in the PFL Bellator just like Vortex?
He's a free agent.
Oh.
I mean, he's, at least like all the interviews, he's like currently a free agent right now. So, but his brother's kicking ass right now. So, Bellagio Ali maybe. Oh, way too soon for that. Man.
I was thinking to say,
way too soon. That Brian Battle dude from UFC.
Yeah, give that kid a chance. Give that kid a chance. Let's see what they
Dirty Boxing, PFL's own. Yes, Shane Burgos, the one-time Dana White has let his guard down and was like, yeah, we got that one wrong.
Of all people.
Shane Burgos is the one guy that Dana White was like, yeah, fuck that one up.
You know, Shane is great. Mike, we had that question from before from the Brandon Glover was asking, if you had the shot to do your best introduction, like Bruce Buffer, which fighter would you want to belt out their name? Now, I went with obviously a funny nickname. I should tell people, guys, that Mike had Riley suggested that I would love to shout out Brandon the Raw Dog Royval. Never. I shouldn't have even said it now. And I really like Brandon Royval, but the nickname is just, come on, what are we doing? I wish it was a guy who never came close to making the UFC, Canada's own Rick Pfeiffer. Mike, are you familiar with Rick Pfeiffer?
No.
I think you're familiar with his nickname.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Very familiar. Rick Pfeiffer was known as the ginger with intent to injure. The ginger with the guys, you can find that. I'm sure you guys have seen on meme sites or something. One of the best nicknames. And if I had to belt it out in front of a packed stadium, I would love to shout out Rick, the ginger with intent to injure Pfeiffer. So wherever you are, Rick, I hope you're doing all right.
That is super funny.
So good. So good.
So I'm trying to think. I have done the ring announcing thing a few times.
That's right. What was the most? What was the fun? Did you have something that cracked you up that you weren't prepared? Like,
yeah. I mean, didn't like crack. I didn't get like Dakota Harry Bush or anything like that. So I remember, I think it was, I don't know if it's like the first or second what I did. So first I did it for pro wrestling for a thing. They did like a celebrity boxing match and I was on local radio at the time. So they brought me out to ring announce and I like rented a tux and everything to do it because I'm just that dude. So I sent this video to like this MMA promotion that was running out of Western Mass in Springfield called Ammo Fight League, which now like Ammo Fight League has sort of migrated into CES now. They're like the amateur. It's like all the amateur fights are booked by the Ammo Fight League promoter now, which is kind of interesting. So I came out and obviously when you do these New England regional shows, there are two guys you see pretty much cornering in every single fight. One is either Glover Teixeira or the other is Nick Newell because it's like all of their fighters competing on this card. And of course, from the ring announcing days and my wedding DJ days, I am like the most organized dude on planet Earth when it comes to like having a mic in my hand. Like I'm going to every coach, going to every fighter. Hey, what was your weight? What's your height? Where do you fight out of? What's your team name? Like, and I'm just filling out cards. And then I'm like, what's your nickname? And they'll tell me what the nickname, oh, I don't give a shit about that or whatever. So Nick Newell has a fighter named Will Smith. Literally Will Smith. And I was like, what is his nickname? I'm sure it's what I think it is. And it was just like, he wanted Ill Will Smith. That's what he wanted. And Nick and I didn't think this was like funny or anything, but Nick Newell comes up, like pulls me aside. And I've known Nick for years. And he was like, hey, when you announce Will Smith, announce him as Will Sriracha Smith. And I'm like, why? He goes, just do it. Trust me on this. And I was like, okay. I was like, you're Nick Newell. You're his coach. If you think this is going to help him, like this would have been do. So he was waiting for me. And I was like into these announcements and I'm introducing Will Smith and he's getting ready for Ill Will Smith. And he was like almost getting ready to mouth out Ill Will Smith as I was saying it. And I was like introducing Will Sriracha Smith. And he was just like, and then he looks at Nick and he was like, I'll kill you. It was like something like that. I don't know why that threw him off so badly, but it was like wicked funny, man. And just because he didn't know it was coming. So that was a fun moment for me.
I realized by now, by the way, the real answer now is brown peanuts. Brown Pinas is out
correct.
there.
It's
not
100%.
Not to be confused with Damian Pinas, by the way, guys. Not, and I don't think they're related. I'm pretty sure they're not related. But for everyone who was laughing at Damian Pinas from Contender Series, there's actually a guy out there, Brown Pinas. And if Bruce Buffer ever shouted that out, it would break the internet.
Yeah,
it would break the internet.
Yeah, Nick Newell has been coaching in New England for a long time. Glover Teixeira might be the best regional coach in the country because I've probably ring announced 30 of the fights that his team was competing in, and I think he's 30-0 as a head coach for his fighters. Like, it's crazy how good they all are, and they just all win. So pretty wild to think about.
What a legacy.
What a fucking legacy.
Damn.
I got to tell you. We'll take one more. Give us your best question. We're talking Corey Anderson. I didn't, honestly, of all the things that we're going to talk about today, I didn't think Corey Anderson was one of them. Please.
PFL. Sorry, I gotta clear my throat here, guys.
I'm soloing you. Get ready.
No, I don't. PFL's in. I use this phrase a lot. I know I've said this with fighters today. It is in a weird spot where it looks like they're, they just got a new CEO. John Martin's coming in. Obviously, they're making some changes. They're streamlining some things, which is great. But it's one of those things where when you're comparing a promotion like the size of the PFL to a promotion the size of UFC, it's like it sucks because the mistakes are amplified so much. I used to make this comparison when people were like, oh, WWE and like AEW or TNA. I think TNA was a better comparison because TNA was actually quite far less successful. Was like, well, PFL makes these mistakes, but so does UFC. UFC makes these mistakes all the time, and like that's fine. Like UFC can essentially get throw 100 darts. They have the size and the resources. They can throw out 100 darts. They only need 25 to hit. One out of 4 darts to hit, and guess what? They can afford the misses. When you're a league like the PFL, it's the opposite. You need like 3 out of every 4 darts to hit to make progress. And, like weird stuff keeps happening where, like you said, the promotion was really poor for this Dubai card. And you had a great rematch with Usman Nurmagomedov and Paul Hughes. And it turned out great. I would probably put the first fight over it, but this fight was really good. A little bit of controversy probably actually held it back. And a lot of people just didn't know that this card was going down. I think they vaguely knew the rematch was happening at some point soon. It was on ESPN Unlimited, which I still don't even know what that is. I live in Canada. We don't have ESPN Plus up here, much less ESPN Unlimited. So I had no idea what that was. I think we watched on, I think, DAZN up here, which was fine. But again, people just didn't know. People don't know. And they didn't know Corey Anderson was fighting. Was that the only 2 title fights? What was the other? I feel like there's one more title fight. Were there not 3 title fights?
There's
only
2.
There was 2. Corey Anderson and then and they should be making a bigger deal about this being like, we are crowning these new champions. We are cleaning the slate. Forget the tournament champions. Forget the super fight champions, which we just crowned friggin' like 6 months ago. We're going streamlined organization championship that you guys are familiar with. This is how MMA organizations work. And it just wasn't communicated well. So much stuff wasn't communicated well. So yeah, really, really frustrating to see that people didn't know that a couple of big title fights were going down. It was in the middle of the day too, which convenient for some people, not so convenient for other people because people got to work, man. People got to work over here. So unfortunately, you probably lost a lot of viewership that way too. So it's a really tough spot for PFL right now. I just don't know how they're going to grow. But maybe we need to be looking at it more big picture than just one event. Which the event itself was fine. Just the lead up to it was a little flat.
I think they're kind of screwed, man. I don't know how they can get over this hump. I really, truly do not know. They get another TV deal coming up at the end of 2026, I think. I think they were the ESPN until then. I'm so curious to see how ESPN moves forward with this. Like, are they going to keep them around? Are they going to dump them? If they do dump them, how does PFL proceed? This card being moved to the Unlimited platform was absolute trash. No one was paying $30 for that. I'm sorry. They just, I think they mean well. I really do. I think what they think they're doing is good. And I think that they have tried this year to do like good things. I think the Grand Prix was a great idea, or the world tournaments as they call them. These are great ideas. These are spectacular ideas. This made the season format much more palatable. Jed said something last week, and I completely agree with it. They need to have a day, and it's like their day. They should have cards on Thursdays, and it should always be Thursdays. Or they should have a card on Sundays. It should always be Sundays. Like that's how it needs to be. And they don't do that. So it's so confusing on where to watch them, what day to watch them, what time to watch them. They were dropping 11 p.m. fucking main cards the day before a UFC pay-per-view this year. Like, these are terrible decisions. And I know it's not fully on them because these are the time slots that they're given by ESPN, but like, think outside the box. Do something else. Like, I'd rather watch you at 3 p.m. than watch you at 11 p.m. It's absolutely insane. And then they have this thing, like they put on like a pretty fun card. Like the Dubai card was good. And then everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. Sergio Pettis is a knockout of the year. We're doing the preview show, and I'm watching this knockout 500 times in a row. And I'm like, holy shit, that was sick. And then we get to the co-main event, and Corey Anderson's all over a guy he already beat. And a fight not a single person was interested in. No one was interested in this fight. And you and I tried to we tried as hard as we could to be sarcastic and put this fight over like, oh, it's a rematch 4 years in the making. Now there's a crowd this time. And we're just like, we know it's going to happen. Corey Anderson is going to Corey Anderson all over him. And that's exactly what happened. So we're just like, oh, great. Now all your momentum is gone. And then we had the bullshit of what happened in the Usman Paul Hughes fight. And again, I have watched that fight a second and third time at this point. Usman Nurmagomedov won that fight, in my opinion. The scorecards ruined it, and it just makes everything look bad. And I know it's not like fully PFL's fault that happened. It's like a commission thing, but like it reflects poorly on the promotion. Like anytime like a good thing happens to them, something negates it. They just cannot like streak together good fortune over and over again. It's wild, man.
And that goes back to my point about the dart throwing, right? Is like the UFC. This stuff happens in the UFC all the time. Referee controversies, fouls being missed, poor judging. It happens in the UFC all the time. But the UFC does so many other things right, at least in the eyes of the fans, that when those mistakes happen, okay, you get mad, you get over it. PFL, it can survive these things, but it needs to be doing everything else right. Right, like you said, it needed to have maybe not that Corey Anderson fight on there, unfortunately. And I like Corey Anderson, but I get what you're saying. Like maybe the positioning could have been different. I don't know. But because that happened, as well as what happened in the main event, as well as the event not being advertised, like the one dart that hit the Sergio Pettis KO, even the quality of the fight, the quality of the Magomedov Hughes fight, we forget those hits because 3 or 4 other darts missed. And unfortunately, those are the darts that we're looking at the end of the day, the ones that didn't even hit the board. And it sucks because, again, you could argue that the card quality was fine, but it's just all the extracurricular stuff. It's hard to ignore. And that's what happens when you're so far in second place, is you cannot afford to miss so many darts. And that's how it goes. So it sucks.
It's brutal, man.
Yeah.
It's absolutely brutal.
And not all their fault. Like I said, not all their fault, but this is the game, right?
Let me pull up this card. The next like big PFL event is the PFL Lime card. Let's see. We have Zabit's brother fighting on the card against Yves Landau.
Kasan, yes.
Taylor Lapalus is fighting Liam Gittins.
Mm-hmm.
Dean Garnett versus Boris Adiguzil in a tournament championship fight. Didn't even know this was a thing. Connor Hughes versus Alexander Chizov. And then we have 2 title fights to cap this thing off. We have Vadim Nemkov versus Renan Ferreira. The last time we saw Renan Ferreira, he was face down getting pummeled by Francis Ngannou in the least competitive championship fight of the last decade. What are we doing here? How is Renan Ferreira fighting for the belt?
Where's Francis, Mike? Where's Francis? Who really won that fight, Mike? Listen, all I know is one guy stepped back into the cage. I don't want to make light of. I was gonna say Francis hasn't been seen since because unfortunately there was stuff that happened in that was a very terrible story. So, but you know what? It's who they got. It's who they got. That's the problem. You can't sell.
Who just won the heavyweight? Olak Pope? Who won the PFL heavyweight championship, and why is he not fighting? People
in the comments. Who won the most recent? I guess the last.
Whoever beat Alexander Romanov. Whoever beat Romanov.
I want to know if anyone in the comments can just pull this. I mean, I have no proof that they're not Googling right now because I know I certainly
Oleg Popov.
Oleg Popov.
That was close.
Wow.
Yeah. The mania is running wild.
Boy.
Yes, thank you. So I don't know why he's not getting that fight. And then the co-main event, AK. The co-main event is Chris Cyborg versus Sarah Collins.
Sarah Collins, listen, she earned her spot. A little bit of a didn't she beat Leah McCourt?
Yes.
That was the number one contender. She took her number one contender spot.
Why is this fight happening?
There's a little bit of an experience gap, I feel like. Sarah has 6-0.
6-0.
6-0. Cyborg is 55-1 or something, 55-2. It's a bit
28-2.
It's a little. I'm a little shocked this fight is even being that the commission authorized this. I'll be honest.
I don't want to sound. I just don't want this to sound like a Chris Cyborg haterade thing because it isn't. Like she can only fight the fighters that are like in front of her.
Yep, it's supposed to be Leah McCourt. Leah McCourt, whatever, didn't make it.
Listen to this. Just listen to this run post Amanda Nunes loss. Like let's really bathe in this.
Be nice, Mike.
Let's run this down. Felicia Spencer, Julia Budd, which at the time was a good win.
It was intriguing. That was intriguing.
Yeah, that was at that time was a good win. Arlene Blanco.
Yeah. Great fight.
The ghost of Leslie Smith.
Okay.
Sinead Kavanaugh. 7-4 Sinead Kavanaugh.
That was rough.
And then, of course, after a dominant second round submission win, 3 fights later, we had to run it back with Arlene Blanco. We had to. Absolutely had to do it.
I enjoyed those fights. For the record, I enjoyed those fights. But yes, I understand.
The second one wasn't terrible because it was one of those like, wow, she's really tough.
Yeah. She can hit a lot. Yeah.
And then we get the Kat Zingano fight. Which now we understood like why Bellator was so hesitant to put the Kat Zingano fight because that was an ass whooping. Then we finally got something. We get Larissa Pacheco, and that fight slapped.
Really good fight. There we go.
So good.
No, it's a fight we wanted for so long. Like there's a reason we wanted it for so long. We wanted it for so long, and it delivered. Right? Like
And Chris is back over because if you watch that Battle of the Giants card, that fight saved the day. Because that card was awful. It was really bad to that point. Like the H. McKee Paul Hughes fight was pretty fun, but like that fight got us back on track because I think we got the Johnny Eblen fight right before that. Johnny Eblen, Fabian Edwards. Holy shitballs, was that fight terrible? And then we get the Cyborg fight. We're like, yeah, let's rock and roll. Awesome. Like to lead right. And that fight was the MVP of the card in my opinion. And then Francis had his moment and all that. Why can't we just do it again? Like, we ran back Arlene Blanco like a year later after their first fight. We can't do Larissa Pacheco again? Like, do a best of 5 before Chris calls it a career. She got like 2 fights left. And we're going to waste one on Sarah Collins? Like, good for you, Sarah. Like, big opportunity for you. But, like, why? What are we doing here?
She earned it, Mike. She meritocracy. She beat one time.
What is it? Look at the UFC. When did they use meritocracy, AK? They just had a $7.7 billion deal. They don't need meritocracy.
Sarah Collins' past 3 wins. All right. Pam Sorensen, who once fought for the Bellator featherweight title, I think. Sinead Kavanaugh, who we just mentioned, fought Cyborg, and Leah McCourt. She choked out Leah McCourt in under half a round. Okay. She took that title spot. Sarah Collins is a worthy challenger to the great Chris Cyborg.
Do you remember when Chris Cyborg was like, I have to fight Leah McCourt? This is like my legacy fight. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? How non-competitive is that fight? Just do the right thing, PFL. Like, I'm not going to take anything from Sarah, but like, give us the fights we desire. There are no other, like, you can't get Amanda Nunes. You can't get her. So bring us Larissa again. And then if that fight happens and Chris wins again, guess what? Do it again. Do it a 3rd time. Maybe Larissa can finally get the win. That's a rematch I'm interested in. Do the thing.
It's a fresh matchup.
Do the thing.
It's a fresh matchup.
How do we feel about Conor McGregor's suspension, by the way? How is this not mentioned at all?
Absurd.
What?
Hilarious.
Why?
Hilarious.
Yeah.
This is what I don't know, man.
Because this is such a sneaky bullshit thing that we held on to for so long.
Here we go.
It's ridiculous, dude. The first test happened the day before he officially, quote unquote, pulled out of the fight. This is fucking crazy.
But the official statement from the CSAT or whatever was like, oh, it's okay. He wasn't preparing for a fight. So we're okay with him missing that. That's what they said. They said he wasn't preparing for a fight. So how could that be?
He was suspended for over a year before we found out about this.
They really got Mike. I think he's learned his lesson. 18 months.
Oh, you think so?
18 months. Taking 18 months away from the game that he loves, Mike. I think he's
to
really
go promote another fighting promotion.
He's got to do something with his time when he's suspended. I think we should applaud that. This, not to mention other things. Also being, let's not forget, being found liable for sexual assault. I think that was also a great way to be spending his time. So, yeah, man, just a mockery, of this whole drug testing procedure. What are we doing?
Going to headline at
it's
the
just
White
so
House.
Silly. It would have been 24 months if he hadn't cooperated, and conveniently you chop off that 6 months, so we still get a nice 18-month number to say we got him. But guess what? He'll be eligible well ahead of time for UFC White House. So yeah, no, it's just.
We know. Now we know about the 6-month master plan. Now it all makes more sense. I'm like, wow, 6 months. Well, now we get it.
Everyone reacted appropriately on, I saw on social media. Everyone just immediately, fans, media, everyone was just like, "This is a sham. This is so meaningless and such a weird gesture. I don't even know why they'd bother to do it. Do they think we're stupid? It was just horrible." But
this is classic UFC.
Yeah, I guess we'll see him at the White House.
Yeah, we will see him at the White House. He will fight Michael Chandler, and boy, what a time to be alive! What a time to be alive!
Finally,
yes,
finally.
I'm playing the music. Hopefully I'm not underwater. We're done. Thank you very much. I didn't realize you're going for 90 minutes. Maybe it's just because I got red-faced talking about the Chris Cyborg booking over the last decade. Yeah. But we will talk UFC Rio tomorrow. We'll have a preview show, all that fun stuff. We'll have the People's Pre-Fight show on Saturday. On to the next one on Sunday. And then we'll fast forward to UFC Vancouver. And then we'll get to UFC 321. And just what everybody's been waiting for. We're heading back to the world's most famous Apex on November 1st. So stick with us at MAfighting.com. Thanks for watching. Watch it back next week. Good night, everybody.